how do we actually use a piece of paper this size to wipe our hands in the toilet or after the toilet? I mean, has anybody ever tried to use a piece of paper this size to dry your hands? Guys, can you do it with one piece of paper? Right? I mean, this is the whole sort of bean counter thing, you know. Let's cut these pieces of paper into the smallest possible little squares that we can, and hope that people can use it. And what everybody does is they pull down tons and tons and tons and tons of paper and try and work it that way. And the next really clever idea was to put hair dryers into the bathrooms. I mean, is there anything more useless than those hair dryers that you have to dry your hands with? I've had this long sort of battle with these things. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about now is after we've gone through this Twitter thing and after we spoke about the future, and Doug, who follows me, is going to be talking even further about the future and how things are happening and tools and things are going to work there. What I've done is to put together a talk that is about how do you actually use this stuff practically, because it's all very well having your Twitter profile, it's all very well knowing some of the stuff and knowing that you shouldn't, you know, only have a picture of an egg on your profile, you should actually have the real you, and all of these things, we know what those things are, but now let's try and work out how you can go back to your offices and start using this stuff to actually make a real difference. And the question is why? Okay, what are the top reasons that business professionals around the world, that CEOs, and why the C-suite people are using social media and using it at a much greater level than they ever have before? And the first reason is a trust reason. They're finding a way of learning from their trusted peers. You use social media and you use the social tools to be able to crowdsource the ideas, the information that you need to be able to do your job, best practices, things that are changing, things that are working differently. Social media gives you the opportunity to do that. It allows you to be able to interact with people on those levels. The next reason is an efficiency reason, because you can find information using social media very, very quickly. You can find information in milliseconds. On a previous conference that I was emceeing, actually, it was during the time that there was the Oscar Pistorius trial going, or not the trial, the verdict being read out. And I was able, in the middle of my presentation, to be able to feed the people the things that they were all interested, so that they would focus on me and not on their phones, to tell them that information that they needed to know about the sentencing. I was asked by a friend of mine just a couple of days ago, actually, she's putting together a TV program, and she's looking at spiritualism and social media and how people are using social media in their spiritual context. And I was able to go out on one tweet and say, hey guys, who out there wants to be part of a TV program that's talking about this? And I got my recommendations within a minute and a half, and I was able to give her a list of people, some of whom I knew, but most of whom I didn't know, as who could be part of this audition for this program. So it's efficiency, the ability to find that information very, very quickly. The next is a relevant context to be able to connect with your vendors. You can deal with them and chat with them in spaces which is a shared space, your space and their space put together. And that is one of the reasons that people want to do that. And a very, very important reason as well is your ability to be able to access a broader network, to be able to talk to more people that can help you, to find other suppliers, seeing that you chaps are in a procurement space, find other suppliers to deal with, find other people to network with that can help you do that. I'm not going to show you that now because it's not the scope of this discussion, but you know, if you want to find, which is a job that I needed to do relatively recently, and it was to find a media buying capability in Malawi, I was able to go to my LinkedIn profile, look at my friends, and find a list of people who were able to give me advice on buying media in Malawi. I didn't know that those people existed, but within a couple of minutes or seconds, I had a list of people that I could contact and use to help me buy media. The next question is also comes from a survey that was done by PricewaterhouseCoopers in 2013, and it asks a couple of questions. And seeing that I'm not in the procurement space, I'm in the marketing and the communication space, check me if I'm wrong, if you guys do this kind of thing as well, if this is important in your life. The first one, is it important to listen to and learn from suppliers, to learn what they're able to give you, to be able to help you get the right products and things into your business or into your university? And I suspect that is one of the things that you do. Otherwise, these guys on the other side of that curtain wouldn't be there and giving away millions and millions of prizes to everybody. The next thing is, do you ever need to ask suppliers to update you on the state of their market? The Pricewaterhouse Survey's international survey says that's what supply chain, or that's what procurement professionals do. And third was, do we ask suppliers to bring new opportunities through to you? Is that something that you are required to do? And as I say, that is a PricewaterhouseCoopers list. Another bit of survey that came from a university in the Netherlands was, what do supply chain professionals, what do they do in terms of, and what do they do when they work with social media and work through that? And that's the list. They use that to get access to specialists and experts in the purchasing community. Second most important thing is to advance their personal career. Okay, I'm going to go through those things in detail. So the first why is market intelligence. Okay, I use social media in order to get an understanding of what's going on in my market, of what's going on in the markets of my customers, or what's going around in the space. I need to understand who's doing what, who the suppliers are, and who's got what products with what specifications. The second reason why to use social media is a very strong one, which is peer engagement. Engaging with people that are your other supply chain people, and learning from their best practices. And not only learning from them in a South African context, but learning from them in an international context as well. And in LinkedIn, for those who haven't, or certainly when I spoke to you about getting involved in social media, I didn't speak to the teams that I spoke to about LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is the premier business-to-business kind of tool. And it's really important that everybody gets a LinkedIn profile and starts participating in the LinkedIn discussions and the groups that are in LinkedIn. And I'll cover that a little bit as we move down through this presentation, so that you can learn from how other people are doing, so you can add extra value into your life, into the life of your organization. The next why is supplier collaboration. Your ability to be able to link in and discuss and to work and to understand your suppliers, the people that are dealing with you, or the people who potentially wish to deal with you. Because as we all know, people don't do business with organizations. People do business with people. And it's important from that point of view to make sure that we understand the people that we're dealing with, and we understand their problems and their solutions as well. The point 4 on this list is to advance your own career. Now, I know that probably sounds or may sound a little bit kind of selfish or self-centered, but of course we're in business and we're out there to advance our own careers, to make sure that we are able to get to the highest point in the pinnacle, which that little rock is called in the Bladder River Canyon, but to the highest pinnacle point that we can get to, so that we can get to those levels up there. And the way to do that, again, a lot of it is in participation in social media, of writing blogs of your ideas and thoughts, so that you become the thought leader, the go-to guy in those spaces, so that people start reading what you write, because they feel that you write sense and that you bring down things for them, that you bring information to them, and that becomes very powerful in terms of building your own profile. You do that on LinkedIn as well, by making sure that you create or participate in groups of people that are discussing the things that you want to discuss. And if you go into LinkedIn and belong to those groups, you ask questions or you start discussions and you ask them whatever you would dream. I've got this problem in my organization. What would you guys do to solve that problem? And you will get feedback from them. My son, in his second year of gainful employment, he's decided to start a business on the side. And he started working and trying to understand iBeacons. iBeacons is a product which produces low range Bluetooth connections, and is a very exciting project in trying to understand in retail and various other places, because you put these cheap beacons all over the place and you can talk to people that are walking around in their mobile phones. He needed to find out more detail on how to work with this and how to sort out these opportunities. And he went into his LinkedIn group and he had long discussions on his LinkedIn group about this. And out of those discussions, he made contact with developers in India. He made contact with suppliers of these beacons from somewhere in France, I think, and has been able to build, or is starting to build, an beacon business in South Africa. So those are the key reasons why.
Listen, I think social networks right now are in a very funny spot. We're 5 to 6 years in, so it's mature enough now that people are actually putting effort and money into it. So now we start getting into the real questions of ROI. Is this really worth it? And what's really happening is these platforms are so different than anything that we've ever come from that I see, here's what I see. I see everybody starting to become cynical about a lot of these platforms, when what I see is the tool's not broken, the mechanics are broken, right? That, the ROI of a piano for Keith and I is 0. The ROI of books for us has been phenomenal. The ROI of a piano for Elton John and Billy Joel was quite a bit. So the ROI is predicated on how you use the tool. In theory, a basketball is broken to me as a money-making proposition. It wasn't for LeBron, right? So social networks work, but we aren't coming off. This is the single most important point that I did not make in the book. We are coming from a digital world where things were actually quite scalable and automated. Banner ads, search engine optimization, email marketing, these things actually were quite automated. Social, ironically, is very heavy human, very heavy touch, very long-term. We came from sprinting, and we're going to a marathon, and most of us aren't trained for this marathon.
I'm going to come back and look, there's so many.
Take a note of his name, because he really is worth listening to. If you don't like people swearing, then don't listen to him, because he really does call a spade a shovel. So how do we do this? What are the tools that we need to use? What are the tools that we can use when we go home now? And that's what I'm going to spend the rest of this little chat on, is how do we use this stuff? What do we do? What are the mindsets that we have to apply? And I'm not going to go into great detail because I believe, based on the fact that not everybody's tweeting already, that we need to break this in slowly. So let's take it step by step. The first thing that you need to do is to build filters, because you can't possibly get everything that's happening on your Twitter feed if your Twitter feed gets reasonably big. You can't possibly gather all the information that's coming past. So you just have this flood, this Niagara Falls of information and data coming towards you, and it's impossible for you to make sense out of that. And when I did my little workshop on Wednesday, I spoke a little about lists, but not a lot. Go onto your Twitter profile and find the list feature and start putting together lists of the people who you would like to follow on a specific topic. So you can have a list, say, for rugby players, and a list for cookery people, and a list for suppliers who supplies technology, or a list for the people who are thought leaders in the technology space or whatever. Do that as well with Google. Google Plus also has wonderful opportunities to create groups, and they call them circles in Google, and you put them into circles. And I've got a photographer's circle, and I've got a early South African adopters of Google Plus circle, and I've got people like that, and I can stream my feed so that I'm picking up the information that I need. Very important filters. The next thing, which is as important, and probably why we haven't seen as many tweets as I'd hoped to see, is a routine of some sort. You don't have to be on Twitter or on social media all the time in order to be able to be successful with it, but you need to be disciplined in some way. You need to make sure that you send out at least one tweet a day. Okay, it's not a lot. It's 140 characters. And as I explained to everybody that was at my workshop, it's probably 100 characters. And it can be, gee whiskers, wasn't it a great rainstorm we had last night? Or it can be stuff that's going to add real value to your customers. But you need to the people that are following you. But you need to have that routine. Make it the first thing that you do in the morning, or you make it the routine that you follow when you at lunchtime or whatever, when you're having a smoke break or whatever it is. What I do personally is, in dead time, I go onto social media, and there's tons of dead time when I'm waiting for a meeting to start. Fill up a routine, find a way of doing it. The next little section that I'm going through now is a section on tools, and I'm going to please take a note of these tools. The first one that I want you to consider doing it, and guys, you have to have a Gmail account. Okay, without a Gmail account, you can't even start working in this space. Okay. Gmail is everything, or a Google account is everything. I mean, there's so many things that work off Gmail. You have to have a Gmail account. Okay, and part of that is getting yourself onto a Google Plus thing. And then start searching for people and putting them into circles. Google Plus is actually, although it's not one of the sexy social networks, it's actually a very effective social network, and you'll find groups of people that are interested in the things that you're interested in, and start engaging with them, because that's how you build tribes. That's how you build people who believe in you. That's how you build your career. That's how you build a network of assistance, of people that can help you to achieve the things that you want to do. Okay, so the first thing is Google+. The next thing is to remember to use Twitter. Okay, I had a question. I was posting about my talks that I had here, and I put a note on my Facebook profile, and I said on my Facebook profile, I've just had this like really cool discussion, and we were talking about Twitter, and the people on my Facebook profile, all much younger than me, you know, these old guys, do have the ability to grasp new concepts. But who said to me, what's the point of Twitter? Does it ever help you? Has it ever got you one little bit of business? And my response was that over 80% of my current business leads and my current business comes from Twitter. In some way or other, Twitter has been the most important technology in my life. So start working with it, start playing with it, because you're not going to see these opportunities until you get to use it and start working with it. LinkedIn then becomes almost an absolute imperative for every business person at all. And LinkedIn provides a place for you to put down your profile. That just happens to be my LinkedIn feed. I have for years and years and years and years been gathering people in my network, and my network is actually now pretty huge. And I can find almost anything, almost any person that I want to find, almost any level of expertise that I need, I can find by doing a LinkedIn search. I also happen to buy a premium package of LinkedIn, which allows me to dig into a little bit more analysis, and I can see people who have looked at me, and I can use that to drive new contacts and new understanding. I'm probably not as active in LinkedIn as I should be, but in that little status update that you can see next to my picture, I can write my thoughts. I can share articles that I've found. I can share ideas. I can share that within the groups that I belong to, and I belong to various marketing and social media and digital strategy groups. I can also have people who endorse me for various skills, so that when somebody looks down my profile, and a lot of people do on a daily basis, look down your profile, read what you've done and what you've said, and they look at the bottom and they see skills. Walter has these following skills. Who has endorsed them? More than 100 people have endorsed him for this. More than 100 people have endorsed him for that. More than 100 people have endorsed him for that. Hey, maybe this guy has got some credibility, or you get people to write you recommendations, and for each of your jobs that you've done in your life, because this works like a living CV in a way. They can say, well, he did this and he did that, and he was a really good guy. That all helps you when you're interacting with people. It even helps you when you're interacting with your suppliers, because they get an idea of who you are, and whether you're the kind of person that can listen to their stuff, and whether you're the kind of person to talk to. And then, as I say, you get involved in the chat rooms or the groups that are around that. Another one of the filters that you can use is this one. It's called news.me. Okay, you just go to the news.me account, and you to the page, and it is news.me. Search that in Google and sign yourself up, put in your Twitter, your Facebook details, and it will send you on a daily basis in your email a news broadcast of the things that you might be interested in. So you don't have to be watching all the stuff and hoping that you have to be there, otherwise you're going to miss the new, something that's happened. It can feed you into your inbox. The other thing that I suggest you do is to use Google Alerts. And Google Alerts allows you to feed in just Google Alerts, and set up an account and set it up on certain keywords. And what will happen is that once a day or whenever it happens, they will send you a summary of 4 or 5 articles that relate to that keyword. So if you, I use a frivolous example. If you're an Arsenal supporter like I am, and you put in Arsenal into the thing, it will send you stories on Arsenal every single day. You can have as many Google alerts as you like. Very cheap, very easy tool. What you should also do is put your own name into a Google alert, and you see if anybody's talking about you or have mentioned you in a post and things like that, which I've also found reasonably interesting. Okay, the next tool that you might want to use, and there's a two big deal in my mind, big deal Twitter clients or social media management tools. One of them is HootSuite. And it is, as it says on the top there, HootSuite. It is quite sophisticated, and there are corporate ways of doing that you have to pay money for. You have to pay to get the analytics that it provides. But on a basic level, or even on a corporate level, it gives you a one-stop place for you to be able to manage your social presence. So everything comes there, and you can get certain analytics, and you can get certain understanding of your social presence. The tool that I use a lot is Tweetdeck. Tweetdeck runs on one of my screens. I have 3 screens running on my desk at any specific time, and one of them is Tweetdeck. And it runs things down the side. And you can see there's a menu screen on the left-hand side that allows you to add searches. So you can then start putting in a search that is a PURCO SA search, or you can put in other things there. You can create lists here. You can watch your lists on Tweetdeck. I find it a very, very useful tool. The next useful tool, or a reasonably useful tool, because the reality with me is whenever I put things into read it later kind of mode, I never get around to reading it later because there just seem to be so many other things. But Pocket is a tool that will run on your phone and on your desktop, and it will store your information and store information that you need. Another essential tool is Flipboard. Flipboard is magic. It is a magazine that is produced about your interests and comes on your mobile device, and it just takes all these posts from all over the internet and puts them down on in a magazine format that you can just flip your way through it. Download it today and use it. It will change your life, okay? But the thing that will really change your life, that is, for me, the most amazing package of them all, is Evernote. I don't know how I would live my life without Evernote. Evernote is the ability to save things and keep them and in a searchable format, to save and to keep later. I have notebooks that I share with people that I collaborate with. I take all my minutes on Evernote. I write using a handwriting app on my iPad. I write meeting notes, and they go straight handwritten onto Evernote. I take photographs of every business card that I ever get, and then give the person back their business card and store it on Evernote, and it becomes searchable. I take copies of flip charts, and the flip charts are searchable. The writing on the flip chart is searchable. It is the most amazing thing. I wish I had shares. It is really the most amazing tool ever. Okay, that kind of are the tools and the things that I wanted to share with you. Now I want to give you the secret of how to wash your hands. Okay? And I'll use my little dog's bowl that was for my Great Dane that I used to have. So next time you go into the toilet and you're washing your hands at the end of the thing and your hands are wet, this is how you do it. Shake your hands 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, they're still wet and they're still shining. Now, this is the most amazing part of it. Take your little square of paper, fold it in 4. You have to fold it in 4 because this stuff doesn't absorb, does it? Fold it in 4. Wipe your hands with it folded in 4. Perfectly dry. One little square of paper. Isn't that amazing? I mean, these bloody accountants, these bean counters that got us to get these little small bits of paper and to frustrate us to pieces have just been beaten. You can beat them. Okay, guys, thanks very much.